It's time, an edition of the Brew, Jersey Joe, Island, and you, live right now on YouTube, or those of you that are enjoying the fine rebroadcast a little bit later on. The question we got to put on social media this week for you is, who is a TV doctor that you trust? We all watch television, right? Or at least you stream some of these shows. Somebody somewhere is a TV doctor, whether they're real, whether they're an actress, whether it's somebody you see in a commercial where one of them crooked guys, try to sell you pills at 3 o'clock in the morning. Who is a TV doctor you trust? Well, you trust a lot of people because we got a whole stack of answers for this one. So this ought to be pretty good. And there's some good names that I cheated, looked ahead. But Joel has no idea, so let's go to him first. Joel, who is a TV doctor that you trust?
This question originally, when I pitched it to Joe, was about Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, or Dr. Drew. Who do you think is the most trustworthy? Because those are like the popular three that we always come up on, celebrity doctors that make appearances in every show. But I'm going to stick with those three because I had those in mind. I don't really have too big of a problem with any of them, even though everybody seems to hate them. But I'm going to go with Dr. Drew because he seems to help the most people successfully. And Dr. Phil probably close second.
Yeah, when we first talked about this too, I thought it would be real people out there, and then the fun answers sort of roll on in. I'm like, well, at this point, when the floodgates were open, you got to let them roll on in because they're pretty good. So my favorite, I have one fake one, and that's, of course, is Dr. McCoy from Star Trek. I mean, how could you not love a country doctor that was drunk all the time and would yell, "Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not an escalator." So he's good. But Joel, you're going to love my answer number two. Do you remember me telling you about Dr. Gene Scott? He was on the high-end satellite channels in the 80s. And when TV stations like the 80s and 90s didn't want to sign off, you would air this guy overnight, and he would preach the gospel to you. But he would just sit there and stare at the camera and yell at you to get on the telephone, send me $1,000. And he would have his wipe-off board of conspiracy theories and trying to figure out the day of the end of the world. But when people wouldn't call him, he would get mad. Get on the telephone. And then he would just dissolve a B-roll of him and these hot women riding horses in the desert. It'd be like Doc and Celeste. And all of a sudden it'd be dissolved to him and these hot women enjoying dinner to Roy Rogers. And then the best one is all of a sudden it cuts to him and now he's gambling in the floor of the Stardust there on Las Vegas Boulevard. And that was his whole thing. It was just Doc and the hot women. And he owned a skyscraper in LA and everything. Back home in Pennsylvania, they would air this middle of the night. And he was a mean old SOB. He's dead now, but there was there's B-roll of it online if you guys want to Google that on YouTube when you're done. But doesn't that sound like a winner?
Holy yeah, definitely.
Well, let's get to a bunch of your answers, though, because we got a lot of them. So who's the TV doctor that you trust? Bombos Yankees trust Dr. Rainbow Johnson. April G702, Dr. Ruth. Isn't it amazing, Joel, Dr. Ruth? She's still around. She's ancient, but yet she's still on TV just talking about sex.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for her. I didn't know she was still around. I actually kind of forgot about her, but good for her. She was cool.
Yeah, she just showed up on Drew Barrymore, one of these daytime talk shows now since COVID. She's in her house via camera or whatever. But yeah, she's on. And Dr. Ruth, mind you, was one of the first people ever to beat a TV quiz show back in the black and white days. She hit the jackpot before they were rigged.
That's pretty cool.
More of your comments, though. Bronx Homers 46 says, "Ooh, I thought you meant Dr. Oz, etc. I'll go with Dr. Doug Ross, a.k.a. George Clooney from ER. It's Brian 25, without a doubt, Doctor Who." Joel, do you know who Doctor Who is?
It's a TV show, but I don't watch it.
Correct. It is a TV show. It's one of the longest-running characters in the world. It's from the BBC over. It's a big deal if you're over in Britain, science fiction. And, that show's been on so long, the early episodes are gone. They don't even have them on tape. They're black and white. And every so many years, they'll recreate somebody else to take over the doctor's role. There's been, a couple dozen people now have played it. So definitely our friends overseas in UK. They'll be like, oh, yeah, and it's on BBC America here, too. So I shuffle the papers here because I nearly spilled them on the floor. Mrs. Bolus 2015 says Dr. Conrad Hawkins. Oh, the resident. Shannon Lynn 27 says Dr. House. Jay Garby agrees, House. And Ophir says anyone who doesn't pick Dr. Gregory House, MD, is crazy. House, Hugh Laurie that used to be on Fox all the time there, and his character was disabled and always whacked out on Vicodin.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to use one of those corny TV doctors once I saw some of the corny answers rolling in. But what about, what's the doctor from Grey's Anatomy? Do we get any of those?
No, nobody said Grey's Anatomy. We got a House was the number one answer. But
I would have thought that would be one of the answers.
I would too. I don't think it's in the stack. I don't recall seeing that, but that's like they say in the feud. Good answer. Good answer. All right. Well, Sue says Marcus Welby D. Nice. Chris says Dr. J. No one could dunk like him. Technically not a TV doctor, but if you're watching the game on NBA, on NBC or ESPN, I guess Technically, that's skirting the rules. Okay, Rock Guitar says Doctor No. Scooters McGavin says Mark Green or John Carter out of the county in Chicago. And Really Mad Treat says Hawkeye Pierce, Alan Alda from MASH. There's another big-time popular show that has, I think, the highest rating of any TV show episode ever, MASH. It's all the TV station I've had to work at. It's always been on the air at one point or another. You ever watch MASH, Joel? I know you're a little young for it.
No, that's why I'm laughing. You're like explaining all these shows to me because they're all like before my time, but I can't relate. I don't know what any of these doctors are.
Yeah, they made war fun, we'll put it that way. All right, Ed says, I'd probably say the most trustworthy is probably Dr. Quinn. She really seemed to know what she was talking about. And Starman had my favorite answer of the show, and I held it here for purpose. Dr. Pimple Popper. No, it's so gross. I mean, you're literally watching somebody have, like, pus cut out of a guy. No.
No.
I can't. I mean, I put it on, but I can't sit there. I know it's popular, but I gotta give people credit that can sit there and get through that. I mean, that's like watching somebody gut a deer.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it. This is so disgusting to me.
I know, we don't want to lose our audience here. Okay, we got one more. Bronx Bummer's 46. She has a good answer. It's kind of funny, too. She says, none of them. I barely trust my own doctors. Hashtag skeptic. I'm just thankful she didn't say Dr. Pimple Popper. It's still so wrong. I'm sorry, I thought I was funny. I mean, nobody says Grey's Anatomy, but somehow Dr. Pimple Popper made our survey. It's not even, she's a real doctor, isn't she? I think. I don't know. Once again, clearly you and I are not the target audience for that show.
None of these.
No. All right, well, you want to be that target audience like you always are. Click that like subscribe button down below for all the fun here in the Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel. 4 big shows waiting for you each and every week. And I do believe we have not aired a single episode of any of my shows on a web channel that involve any kind of surgery.
Let's keep it that way.
You got that, because I'm not wheeling a camera in any hospital room watching you get cut open or me or anybody else. So we don't need that. But we do need to see you here each and every week. Jersey Joe and Ion saying thanks for watching. Thanks for all your good comments. And we'll see you next time, I hope.